Friday, and it's time for the PHNX Coyotes podcast. Shout out to OG's Brands, the official sponsor of Flavoring Fridays. Head over to ogsbrands.com to see their full lineup, including their two newest gummies, the OG's Naturals and the Big OGs, and find out where you can purchase. Don't forget that like button, subscribe wherever you get your podcast, and leave us a 5-star review. I'm Petey. This is Craig. Behind the Mac is Danielle, and nowhere in sight is Leah Merrill. Again. But
thumbprints will be all over this show.
Yeah, so we hope so. Because I'm starting to get concerned
that.
This is more of a vacation. So she better come through today.
And great news. This is probably the best news of the day. This is our last show without Leah.
That is really good news.
The next time we are on air, Leah Merrill will be back.
That is.
To quote the great Oogway from one of my favorite movies, Kung Fu Panda, that is good news.
And that'll do it for today's OG's Flavoring Fridays. Thanks everybody for coming. No, that was very good. And make sure you, if you're watching this show, make sure you subscribe to the PHNX YouTube channel. If you're listening on podcast, subscribe wherever you get your podcast. Don't miss any of this content that we're spitting out here at PHNX, because you don't want to miss a thing when it comes from Craig Morgan, Leah Merrill, myself, or Danielle. Okay, Craig, we've got a lot to get into today. There's a lot going on.
Really,
in the
a Friday
hockey.
Fun Day, is it?
It is not.
It will be.
It will
Eventually.
But it isn't yet. No. We got to cover some housekeeping and talk about some things that are going on in Toronto at the All-Star Game, where Gary Bettman had an opportunity to speak. What did he talk about?
Well, he talked about a lot of things. I mean, we had big announcements from the NHL about the Four Nations tournament, the Olympics, World Cup, all that stuff is coming. Those are big announcements from today.
But they're years away.
Yeah, so they're years away. But it was, at least there was one point where John Delapina was at the mic saying, "Can we, focus on the Olympics today?"
Because 2026.
He knew what was coming. He knew there were going to be Coyotes questions, and obviously the bigger story, the 5 players who are facing charges for sexual assault. We'll see where all of that goes. But yes, eventually, and we should also mention, by the way, that Josh Doan was named to the NHL All-Star.
Fantastic.
Good for Josh. He's having a hell of a season.
A guy we weren't sure how he'd perform, and he's already in the NHL All-Star Game in his first year. Congratulations to Josh Doan.
He's a goal scorer.
Fantastic.
He is a goal scorer. Yep.
Keep an eye on him and that team down in Tucson as this season continues.
Should we also just mention right now which team is Clayton Keller is on?
Do we have the graphic of Clayton Keller?
I think we do, actually. Petey's got a cool graphic.
We got. They're talking about the draft, and we're talking about this draft concept and the captains, and Austin Matthews is one of the captains of the team. So,
and who did he select?
He took Clayton
lots
Keller.
of Leafs and his good bud Clayton Keller.
Lots of Leafs and his friend Clayton Keller. Jim Montgomery's going to coach that team. Justin Bieber is the captain. My goodness, if that doesn't sound like victory, I don't know what does. Check it out on NHL.com. You can see all the captains, all the teams. But the most important thing is Clayton Keller will be playing with Austin Matthews at a game that none of us are going to watch.
Should we just address for a moment Michael Bublé yesterday, talking about being on mushrooms and okay.
I don't know if that's
that was interesting
because I didn't watch it. Is it bad that I didn't watch the draft show?
No, buddy, don't worry about it because I'm not watching the rest of the All-Star.
But do I have to pretend I did?
Because I didn't. You can, but
I read the news.
That was an interesting moment.
Was he? You said he's on mushrooms? Fire.
So,
I don't know that.
I was wondering if he
if
he got together with Jake Plummer before he went to the All-Star game. I don't know. That was all interesting stuff. But you've got the rosters now. Clayton Keller. I also liked how they did the last selection. Like, I never liked the idea of having a Mr. Irrelevant. So what they did is the 4 final players that were left sitting on the bench by themselves, unselected, they put them in cards and they distribute them randomly. So you're not the last pick. You're just one of the last 4 picks.
Why didn't they do that when I was playing kickball? Like back in Central Elementary in downtown Bemidji, the metropolis that Bemidji is in downtown center. Where was that kind of concept? Where was that?
Petey.
He's the skinny kid. That one we'll take last.
Yeah.
Only in hockey did I not go last. Everything else last. Hockey went first. Everything else last.
Was this Was this something that you discussed with your therapist from time to time? Okay.
It's on the list.
Okay.
It's right on the list, right after my dad.
All right. We got all of that out of the way, and that was fun, actually. The next few minutes aren't going to be so much fun because Gary Bettman did address the Coyotes. Eventually, a couple questions were asked, one of them by our own Liam Merrill at the news conference today in Toronto on the Toronto Raptors practice court at Scotiabank. I can't even remember the names anymore. There's too many corporate sponsors now.
The new Maple Leaf Gardens?
Yeah. The new Maple Leaf Gardens. Let's call it that.
The team that hasn't beaten the Coyotes since early in the year 2000s.
Almost as long as their cup drought, right?
Almost.
All right.
Just call it that.
And by the way, we'll get to that soon.
We will?
Anyway, Gary Bettman addressed the Coyotes in a couple different clips, which Liam Merrill did record for us. So let's hear the first of those when he's addressing the arena situation. What's happening on the ground right now, Danielle?
There's nothing new. Alex Morello is focused on one piece of property, and we're focused with him on what that timeline is. And my guess is that's something that'll be addressed in the next few weeks.
And the key to that, though, is the last two words he said. Few weeks.
Yeah.
Few weeks. Like it's going to be it's few weeks, which can be turned to maybe a couple of weeks, which some may also say is 2 weeks.
Yeah. We'll get to all this. Leah Merrill asked a follow-up question. Well, what happens if the Morello Group can't complete the purchase? Here's what Gary Bettman had to say directly to Leah Merrill.
Alex Morello, as recently as last week, told me he was certain he was going to get this done, and I don't make it a practice of contradicting owners unless I have hard facts to the contrary, and I'm both hopeful that and reasonably confident that he's going to do what he says.
By the way, Bill Daly looks like he'd like to be any place other than at that podium.
Talking about Coyotes Arena again?
Reasonably confident. Alex Morello says he's confident that something is going to come very soon. And then right after these comments, the Coyotes put out a tweet from their main account. And the Coyotes account has been a source of discussion lately with some of the tweets that they put out. But they put out something that I think is probably a little bit of good news. I think this is what fans are looking for. We are fully committed to Arizona and hope to share exciting news with all of you soon. Arizona is home and the future is incredibly bright here. Now, obviously, there are not a lot of details, but at least they're giving fans something. We're still hopeful. Does that mean anything? Well, we don't know, right? We've been down this road before. A lot of people said it. Elliot said it on the show the other day. We've been down this road before. But I think it's important at least to give them little nuggets of hope. That's important for a fan base.
Yeah, but it's funny. We've ebbed and flowed with this team for almost 20 years now. And we've seen it get close to getting done, and then we've seen it close to moving. And then it's back and we're positive. It's in a city council meeting. It's on a vote. I felt over this last 2 weeks, I really have felt this cloud, and it started to turn dark again, that I thought their hope was slipping out. I guess after Bettman's comments and his confidence in the Morello Group, and now that the team's confident that they're going to talk about something soon, gives you a little renewed hope that there's something happening in the near future. I still believe, and I know people that follow this show know I can be a pessimist at times. I'm still optimistic that come next October, there will be NHL hockey in the state of Arizona.
You know who else would like to hear from the Coyotes ownership group? NHLPA Executive Director Marty Walsh, who was at it again today. Let's go ahead and play Marty's first clip on his feeling about the Coyotes situation, Danielle.
I have serious concern about Arizona. I think I've made public statements, a lot of them, and I'll make one more today that, I'm extremely disappointed in the ownership of Arizona and the president of Arizona. They have not reached out to the PA to talk to us about what the situation in Arizona is. I mean, since I've been here, we've been working very closely with the league. We've been working to grow hockey and grow the sport of hockey. We had great announcements today that's going to increase, viewership and fans in hockey. And we have a team in Arizona that doesn't seem interested in having a conversation with the union who represents the players that play on that team. So we'll wait. It's a wait and see approach. Unfortunately, we've had two unofficial deadlines to come up with some movement. We've gone past both of those. So I'm interested to see what the ownership of Arizona has in mind, as far as what they want to buy land. And, it's not just about buying a piece of land. It's like, okay, you can buy a piece of land. How long will it take you to permit the land? Does the land, do you need a referendum? Is it hazardous waste? Do you need to remediate the land? There's lots of questions. So you could talk about buying land in Arizona, and it can be 10 years before a shovel goes in the ground. And that's, as far as I'm concerned, it's unacceptable on behalf of the players of that team, and should be unacceptable for the league.
And then Marty Walsh went right into sort of the crux of his role here, right? He talked about the impact on the players, because that is Marty Walsh's role, to have his players back. So let's go ahead and roll right into that clip, Dan.
I think the players want to play in an Olympic. I know the players want to play in a National Hockey League arena. I mean, I've had more than several conversations now. I have conversations almost on a monthly basis with the PA, somebody from the PA, the representative talks to somebody from the team, and they're very interested in what the future is.
All right, I want to restate something that I've said about Marty Walsh in the past. Marty Walsh is doing his job. This is what you want from an NHLPA executive director. Ultimately, and I've made this point as well, Marty Walsh is powerless to enact any sort of change or get anything rolling on this front. He can't do anything tangibly. What he can do is put pressure on the league and put pressure on the Morello group through rhetoric. Marty Walsh is a politician. He used to be the mayor of Boston. He's a master of rhetoric. This is what he can do for the players. I think some players may be under the misunderstanding that he actually has power over this decision. He does not. But this is what he can do. He can influence it by continually banging this drum, and there's nothing wrong with it. He's right on a lot of these fronts. It's long overdue that we had a solution here in Arizona. He's trying to protect his players back.
Yeah, and look at it this way, too. We're the PHNX Coyotes podcast. We talk about this team, and we're on the team side on most things. On this, from day one, we have said this is not acceptable for them to be playing in mullet. The problem is there is no other choice at this particular moment in time. It's either the mullet or they leave at that time. So everybody understands temporary solution. Mullet is temporary solution. If it becomes a permanent solution, well, then that doesn't work, and then the team will have to find another alternative. For a temporary solution, this is the best that they can do. And I'll be honest, I've talked to a lot of players with this team, not opposing players that come in and play at the mullet, and even they come in and say, it's unique, it's interesting, we don't mind it that much. The players here in Arizona, I haven't heard that narrative from them face to face. Now, whether they're just saying that to me because they're afraid, well, I will say here, I haven't heard that narrative. Guys don't mind it as much. Now, they can't stay in there forever. They're going to have a solution. But for now, I don't know if the mullet is all that bad.
No. And again, players love playing in Arizona. They love living here, all that stuff. Like all of that plays into the equation. I agree. I don't know. From a revenue standpoint, it matters. It absolutely matters.
For sure.
And that's where the PA has a really strong
The
argument.
revenue sharing is a thing. It's real. It's money.
And eventually, if you have a path, if you have a solution, like when Tempe looked like it was real, when we were being convinced that it was real, like Elliot said, like everybody thought that was going to happen. The players were fine at that point. Like as long as you know you have a light at the end of the tunnel, it's okay to have this temporary solution. So we continue to wait here, and people wonder what's the deadline now. Well, it was nice to hear Marty say we passed a couple of artificial deadlines. Yeah, the All-Star break was no longer a deadline, as we've been telling you on this show for a while. Again, we've said it I don't know how many times on the show, but somehow that message didn't get out to everyone. But now it's pretty apparent. We're at the All-Star break, and
nothing happened.
Yeah, it's not a deadline. And Gary's saying what he's saying. Yeah, they're moving a few
forward.
weeks, and that's obviously after the All-Star break. So the All-Star break was not a deadline at this point, as we've been telling you.
And that's what we got the sense from Gary Bettman. As long as this thing is continuing to move forward with some positive outcome, I believe that the deadline can get pushed forward. I do believe that. If at some point that looks like that is going to end and there is no hope and they're going to change, then they'll have to change directions. But until that point, I think every deadline we've talked about is arbitrary.
Listen, and I addressed this. I know you and I talked about this yesterday on the show. I don't believe Plan B is relocation. I don't. I think Gary Bettman will explore every other option. He's made that clear again and again that relocation is the last option. And I know we've got trolls on our YouTube videos, trolls everywhere else saying, yeah, you guys are in denial, you're delusional. No, we're actually just doing the reporting and hearing what the people who make decisions say. relocation is the last option. If Alex Morello can't get this done, and again, he's confident he can still, so we'll see. I don't want to discount that possibility. But if Alex Morello can't get it done, Gary Bettman will explore other local options. He will. He will and that's not easy, right? There are hurdles to cross there. Everybody thinks, well, just have Matt Ishbia buy it. Well, what's the asking price? What is Alex Morello going to demand if he's even willing to sell the team? And is Matt Ishbia willing to pay that price versus, Ryan Smith in Salt Lake City, who's already kind of said he is? So those are things to take into account. There may be other ownership groups locally that are interested in this team. All of that will be explored. And while I'm saying this, some people are misconstruing what I'm saying here as saying, oh, he's saying they're not going to relocate. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that's not a possibility. All I'm saying is it's the last resort, and there are other options that they will explore before they take that route. That's the nuclear option.
And when you talk about reporting, because that's what you're doing, is reporting, you ask the ownership of this team, and the ownership of this team has said they are confident they can get a deal done. So for us to sit here and go, well, I don't believe that. They can't get a deal done. How the hell do we know?
That's a really important point, because there are a lot of people are like, oh, why should I believe that?
Can't get it done.
You can go on track record and say, okay,
for sure.
That's one thing that raises red flags. But you saying they can't get it done, like, what do I care if you're saying that? You have no idea the details behind this deal. So you're just spouting from a position of ignorance. I couldn't care less what your opinion is on that.
Yeah, based on what?
Yeah.
There are factors in his relationship that he had in Glendale and his business dealings here. And all of those things are all true. But from their mouth, they are saying they're confident they're going to get this deal done. Gary Bettman says they're confident. He believes in Morello's words, and he believes they're confident. And I do believe that's option A. Option B is this team tries to find other suitors. And to Craig's point, down the road, if there are no other options, then they will explore and start to look at relocation.
Yep.
Well,
other points in there, like Marty Walsh raised some important points too. Like, it's one thing to say you're buying this piece of land. There's a lot more that goes into building an arena and this massive complex than just that. So he's right there. We've said this before on the show. What's the timeline? How long is all of that going to take? Once this piece of land, if they do in fact go after this piece of auctioned off land, there's a period of time where it just has to sit. They have to post it and wait to see if other bidders come in. That takes you to the late spring. Yeah. So is the NHL okay with that down lane? Maybe so if they have inside information. I don't know. We don't know all those details yet. But those are very real and important questions to be asking.
And I will say this, as the arena conversation continues, whether it's with the league, with ownership, with the PA, tune to PHNX and Craig S. Morgan to make sure you're getting the real news and the real reporting on this topic. And hopefully we're not talking about it for a little bit, or maybe we are talking about it soon with positive news. But whatever you do, make sure you stay tuned to PHNX. Craig, can we move on from the arena?
We can, buddy.
Because I think it's time we talk about another sport. Do you want to know what sport we're going to talk about? As my computer dies.
I have been there.
And so now we have to have patience as I pretend to get my computer going. We have been, and we're going to start talking about the Phoenix Raceway.
Yeah.
Because we've been to the Phoenix Raceway, and I have personally been to races there when my son was young. Loved it. Yeah. Bring headphones. Just a tip. Earplugs, headphones. Make sure you bring it. The Valley of the Sun will roar to life this spring when NASCAR returns to PHNX. Good night, everyone. I said PHNX. Yeah, I did. When NASCAR returns to Phoenix Raceway, March 8th through 11th, whether you're a diehard racing fan or simply looking for a fantastic day out, can you tell us OG's Flavoring Fridays today?
Leo will be home next week.
Whether you are a diehard racing fan or simply looking for a fantastic day out, this event promises fun for everyone, from live entertainment, fan hospitality areas, and an immersive infield experience. And I've been there. It's the sights, the smells, and it's the noise. It's not just a race. It's an experience. And I did write that this morning, by the way. Get your tickets to the Shriners Children's 500 at Phoenix Raceway, March 8th through 10th. Promises a great weekend of good vibes for the whole family. Get your tickets now at phoenixraceway.com. And now, without further ado, because it is Friday, I've been waiting this whole show
Kilt lifter?
It's Four Peaks.
Nice.
Four Peaks is the official beer of PHNX. Sports aren't the same without a Four Peaks in hand, which I now have, and I hope you heard the SMR on the audio podcast. It's been a while since we've talked about the menu at the 8th Street Pub. It's a great pub food menu, and we have talked about the attendees being sincerely elite.
French dip, too, by the way. Underrated.
All of the most popular Four Peaks brews are on tap. A great place to watch a game. Craig and I both love the caramel malty goodness of the Kilt Lifter, the Scottish-style ale. But if you're looking for an IPA or a citrus lager or a pumpkin porter, Four Peaks has you covered. Visit fourpeaks.com/locate to find your favorite beers and events. Check out at Four Peaks Brew or at Four Peaks Pub to keep up with the latest at Arizona's hometown brewery. You must be 21 to drink Four Peaks. Please drink responsibly.
You good?
Yeah,
Take
I'm
a
good.
sip
I'm
of
going to
that
take
beer,
a
buddy.
Okay, and you
You
let
earned
us
it.
know what the hell we're
You
doing
earned
now.
it, yeah. So, as I noted in tweets and in the Discord, Coyotes fans take a lot of heat. I respect you all so much. You've taken a beating over the last 2+ decades from fan bases all across the United States, all across North America, and even in Europe. You've taken a beating. And I understand it's hard to be a Coyotes fan. Because what did we talk about in the first segment today? Oh, they're still looking for an arena. Oh, that's good. Same instability that's been here for a long time. You've taken a lot of punches, and yet you guys, you keep coming back. I respect this community so much. A lot of the people that I know, we both know very well in the chat right now, that keep coming to Coyotes games, keep supporting this team, and somehow keep a positive attitude, which is really hard to do when you're just being shat on by most of the world. So I've got a little treat for you today. I've devised a new game, and Petey and I are going to don our game show host voices for this, by the way. So I hope you enjoy them. They may not be very good because they're not polished, they're not practiced, and we're not game show
No,
hosts.
I haven't read them.
Okay, well that's good to hear.
Wait,
but that's actually consistent.
It's actually
Petey
probably
never
pretty
reads.
good, though, because I read the ads before. I actually wrote those down and typed them, and I still couldn't get through those. So
the
It is a
name of
good
this
thing.
game is Trolling the NHL. You can guess what that means. I mean, you're going to find out in detail what it means in just a moment. We're going to allow you to troll back at some of these people that have been crushing you for so long. Here's how it works. I'm going to give you the answer, not the question. I'm going to give you the answer, and then you have to give me the question that precedes that answer. There are no wrong questions here, just more creative ones. I'll read my own at the end, but we're going to read some of yours as well, some of the better ones. We're going to read them out loud off the chat. I will read my own at the end, and if you guess that answer, if you guess what I was thinking on this particular topic, you're going to get one of these because Petey brought it in.
wow.
Going to get a bell ring. Congratulations to you.
I've only read 2 questions, but I'm guessing we don't hear the bell. There's some obscure shit here, Craig.
Well, there's
Just
some,
telling ya.
There's some
Reaching
good
out.
stuff though, and
No,
really,
it's
I'm
good
not
stuff. I'm just saying
necessarily
obscure.
looking for my answer. I'm looking
Yeah, you
for
are.
quality answers, and I realize I'm putting you on the spot here. You got to do it quickly, but that's a game show. That's how the game is played.
Okay.
So,
Let's do
are
it.
we ready to play Trolling the NHL?
Yes.
All right. The first segment will be the Canadian version because we love to troll Canada back because Canada trolls the Coyotes harder than
Can I answer
anybody
questions
else.
too? As long as I don't answer it with what I've
As
read.
long as you don't put this one out there, yeah, sure.
Okay.
All right. So everybody has the
Because I have an
format
answer
now.
to the first one.
I throw out the answer. You throw out the question. So the first answer is Elias Pettersson.
Elias
What
Pettersson.
is the question?
And you remember password? Elias Pettersson. And I wonder if they heard that in the studio. Like, did Betty White hear it and just not care? Alan Ludden, she was so magnetically attracted to Alan Ludden. Was he good looking? I don't know.
I
That's
don't know.
Another show.
I think I've stumped people. I don't
I'm
see
just
any
waiting for-
answers to
Okay, I'll say-
what is the question for Elias. Oh, wait, what do we have here?
No, they're arguing. Bob's your uncle's arguing. But and I'll talk to Bob's. My answer to the question, or my question to the answer, Elias Pettersson, is which Vancouver Canuck player saved the coaching career of Rick Tocchet?
That's a good answer.
Yeah,
That's a very good answer. I like that one.
I like that answer.
Does anybody want to weigh in
Oh,
here?
Mitchell.
Who is the greatest Swedish player to play in Canada? That is Mitchell Lyon's answer.
Is that
here's,
bad?
here's another one from Arut. Who is Canada's new prime minister?
Wow. He might be right.
Nick Nelson. Who is Vancouver's Canuck stud? Oh, they're all coming in now. Who is the
Most overrated
Canuck?
Not wrong.
All right.
Oh, he's the first member
Roaring
of the
Fork.
Swedish Speedo team. Roaring Fork comes in with a good one.
This is why This is why I wanted to play the game, because I
Robert
knew
Lee.
you guys would bring it.
Who is the son of Old Man Pedersen? I mean, he's, again, not wrong.
Yep.
I don't know if it rings in bell ringing worthy.
Dan B, that's Bessie. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Name a player who won't be in Vancouver in 2 years.
Maybe not wrong.
All right.
Which Canuck has a head bigger than Yalmerson? Wow. Wow, Sean Gooey. That's aggressive.
All right. Let me give you my answer. Who will be the next great Swede never to win a Stanley Cup in Vancouver? The answer is Elias Pettersson, and there you go.
And
All
that
right.
is, so now the next one. Have everybody ready?
Yeah.
Everybody get their fingers on their keyboards. Maybe people
those
are on their
some
phone.
Good answers, though, by the way.
The second answer is Edmonton Oilers. The answer is Edmonton Oilers.
What is the question? What do you have, people, for us? Edmonton Oilers. Do you want me to throw something out? No, I already have my answer here.
Give another one.
I threw them out. What is this?
Give another one.
I'm trying.
Oh, Cash he's trolling us. It's a trolling show, so we okay with
It
Cash
is a trolling
us.
show. That's
He's
fine.
just trolling the Coyotes, but that's okay. Edmonton Oilers.
Not doing a great job at it, by the way. But you know what? It's a trolling show, so we'll let it
We'll
slide.
allow it.
Yeah, we'll allow it. I'm okay.
Florence
It's okay,
Crosby
buddy.
not enjoying
That's
my.
the whole point of being a Coyotes fan. You're used to this. Like, you think that bothers us? Like, really, buddy? Oh, Cash, we should take that bet. Cash, can you let us know where you're from? Because I don't know. I can't see it. Just Cash, let us know where you're from.
All right. Yeah, and while you're doing that, let me.
What team has blown? Yes, and George Fowler, friend of the show. What team has blown the most number one picks all
That's
time
good,
in the
George.
NHL? Is the correct answer,
Oh,
by the
that's
way.
a really good answer, George.
Ooh, Patrick McNamee.
What is wasting McDavid's career?
Wow, Patrick McNamee, you got that
Who's the
right.
team who won 16 straight, but loses in. Wait, go back up there.
Loses in the first round.
It loses in the first round. All right.
James
What Canadian team is going to choke in the playoffs again?
Again.
What team will McDavid leave?
A-Root.
Tail. A team McDavid less in 2 years. Yeah, there's a common theme here. Who win the draft lottery?
Yeah, they will. They'll win it
From
again.
Gutter. Even if they're not in the draft
They'll win it
lottery, they'll
anyway.
win it. Wow, there's a lot of. You want to read some of these?
Yeah, which team will not win the Stanley Cup while McDavid and Draisaitl are on the roster? That's from Brady in Kansas City. What Canadian team will make it to the Cup final and lose? Rob's very aggressive. There is no way that this team is making it to the Stanley
Here's
Cup
Thomas,
finals.
who will
Where the hell's
never
Cash
win a
from? I
Stanley
wanna know.
Cup
I
with
wanna argue.
Connor McDavid.
No, they
All right,
won't.
let me give you.
What is your answer, Craig?
Yeah, this one's pretty low, so I wanted to read this one myself.
Okay.
I wouldn't make you read it. What is the only NHL franchise lowly enough to take on the Blackhawks' badly behaved cast-offs? I.e. Corey Perry.
Wow.
Oh, boy.
That's desperation
That's
right
low.
there.
That's low. That's a low blow by me. All right. Let's get right to the next question. The answers are still coming. This is great. All right.
I think this one's, I don't know if this one's going to hit. This one I
it
struggle
depends.
with.
It depends if we have Natty Hattie fans in here, and I'm giving you that clue. This is for Natty Hattie fans. This is a throwback. This is a reference to the old podcast.
Even I don't get it.
Yeah, you weren't around for those
Not long
Natty Hattie
enough,
days,
no.
most of them, but some people might get this. All right, the answer is LOL. What is the question?
Yeah. But can Cash tell us where he's from? Cash McGregor. Well, people are thinking of the response to LOL. Please let us know where you're from, Cash McGregor. What outstanding NHL city are you from? Please let us know, Cash. So many experts in Arizona. I don't even know what that means. I worked in the
Neither
NHL
do
for
I.
23 years in a coach's room. How did Cash do? Just checking. I mean, I don't know. I worked for Wayne Gretzky for 4 years. What did Cash do? I'm just asking.
George Fowler's guess is ducks.
LOL, not bad.
It
Napkins?
kind of fits.
Is napkins an answer?
Napkins.
I don't know. Jamie napkin, napkin Jamie.
Napkin Jamie?
I know it's a thing. What is penguins? I did say PHNX. That's a true thing.
What is penguins? See? Gary Bettman. Okay. LOL. Okay. Let me just get to this one because I'm surprised that Natty Hattie fans don't remember this because it was a thing with Jamie, me, and Luke for a while, which Canadian City will never get another NHL franchise. Okay. That's close to this. That's close to this. So the answer again was LOL. The question was, how does the NHL feel about Quebec's expansion dreams? Woo! LOL.
I catch it. And now I'm doing podcasts. Yes, I work an hour a day while drinking beer and getting
And now
high.
he's listening to it.
I know, like
He's
listening
listening to the podcast.
I'm drinking beer sitting here. I work for an hour. Like I think I win. Don't I win?
Can I
Yep,
talk
you
to
win.
Cash directly?
You can talk to Cash directly.
Yes.
Hey, bud. I know you're having a rough day because you don't have an NHL city, but thanks for the watch.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks
yeah,
for the
Your
numbers,
watch,
buddy.
your watch
I
does
do
as much as
appreciate
anybody
numbers,
else. So
Cash.
we
All
appreciate you
kidding
being
aside,
here.
I had a great time in the NHL. 23 years, I had a blast. I had a great time, but it was time to move on, and this has been unbelievable. I'm having a great time doing this.
By the way,
I'm not having
what
a
is
great
Tampa's
time.
LTIR? LOL.
I'm not having a great
40
time.
million
with
over the
next one.
cap.
Not having a great time with the next one.
Sorry, Brady. You were almost there. You were almost there.
Did
All
you
right.
give the answer already?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, I'm
So
not
why don't-
paying attention.
Why don't you read the next one?
I don't want to.
No.
I really don't.
Do you want me to read it?
Yes.
All right. I'm going to carry you.
We're going out of order.
All right. The answer is Lyndon Baines Johnson, LBJ. What is
LBJ.
the question?
Lyndon Baines Johnson.
Mm-hmm. Next time we play this, I'll have some music like while we're waiting. Like
Yeah,
you know,
because
the
apparently
Japanese
there is a wait. There is a wait. I don't think you can do that. Copyright.
Uh-oh.
Just
I can
saying.
hum whatever I want.
It was close enough that it probably got picked up on well, it's not Snapple. What the hell is that app?
Thanks for calling attention to it.
What do you?
Spotify.
No, is it Spotify?
Yeah, not Spotify.
No, right.
Shazam.
Shazam.
There it is.
There you go. There you go. Craig, I don't know. Has anybody got anything on Lyndon
LBJ.
Baines?
What do you got? LBJ.
My
Yeah,
grandpa
LBJ.
worked in the LBJ administration.
Really?
Is that
Yeah.
true?
Yeah, he was a cabinet member for LBJ.
Who was married to
That's
Lady
not cool.
Bird? Correct answer.
That's very good, Robert.
She
Who was married to
beautified
Lady
our
Bird? That's true.
highways,
That's
by the
true.
way.
Huh?
She beautified our highways. Tried to get rid of all of the billboards and stuff to make it a more beautiful drive across this beautiful country.
Who was the president the last time the Leafs won a cup?
Yeah, ding, 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 ding.
CWP! Woo-hoo! That
Oh,
is the answer
That
I
was the
had.
answer.
Who was president the last time the Leafs won the Stanley Cup?
SZ had the same thing.
Congratulations
SZ.
to all who
Way to
got
go,
that.
SZ. That was absolutely correct. Okay, can I read the next one? I haven't read this out loud before.
This is from a conversation with Taylor Hall, by the way.
I haven't read this
that I
out
had
loud
long
before.
ago. So, okay,
So
go ahead.
I might stumble through this. The only NHL arena, okay, this is the answer.
This is the answer.
The only NHL arena with rainbow trout scented air freshener and faint flood marks up to the 10th row. This should be easy.
It should be.
CWP, come on, buddy.
I had a hilarious conversation with Taylor Hall about this very thing when he was still a Coyote.
Yeah.
We've given so many hints here that
CWP got a bell.
somebody. What's that?
Yeah, I think they're a little behind.
Yeah.
Or we're a little ahead.
They are a little behind. Yeah,
I don't know how that
It
works.
is about a 10-second delay.
There's a lag effect here. Okay, so again, the
Sounds
only
like my
NHL
love
arena
life.
with rainbow trout scented air freshener and faint flood marks up to the 10th row.
And we've been there.
We have.
Yep.
We have. The
Saddle
Saddle
Dome.
Dome. CWP is crushing it.
CWP's crushing it. He's got a fun day Friday with his OGs today, CWP.
My question actually was, what is the 40-year-old Scotiabank Saddle Dump
The
in
original
Calgary?
OG, and George Fowler follows up with it. Dan B follows it up with it. Thomas Salata follows up with it. Dan B, Mitchell Lyons. Everybody came in with Saddle Dome, and they're all correct.
They are all correct. Saddle Dome is correct. Congratulations to y'all. The next question, you want me to read this, Peter? Are we
Yes,
going
we're out of order.
now? Yeah, okay.
Just live with it.
Right. The answer is the 2024-25 Ottawa Senators. What is the question?
Ooh.
Hmm.
I actually didn't read the answer now that I've read it. That was what my answer was going to be.
Yeah, so,
I like that.
yeah, all right. And
Answer.
we have a 10-second
What
lag. do I
are the
understand here?
24-25 Ottawa Senators? More importantly, will Jacob Chikrin still be there? What do you
That's a
think?
good question.
A sidebar, will
curious
people
how-
type in?
You guys do Jeopardy every
We
Friday.
do. We have fun every Friday, Wrench. We do talk
try
hockey on
to.
every day. We do.
Yep.
It's Friday Fun Day, and that's what we do. It's Friday Fun Day with our good friends OGs.
Can I chime in on the Senators?
Go ahead.
I've talked about this many times behind the scenes, how the NHL is by far the best logo league
Yes,
in pretty much the entire world. I think the Senators have the worst logo.
there you go. I'm not going to argue with that.
I think it like
We got some
it's
answers
everybody.
rolling
It's
in.
everybody has a phenomenal logo, and then it's the Senators with a really bad logo.
A lot of Jacob Chikrin, Brady.
Yeah.
What team will not have Jacob Chikrin? Patrick McNamee, who lost the Chikrin trade.
Dale, what is still a dumpster fire?
Yeah. There are oddly two Dan B's in the chat at the same time. That is odd.
Who's going to win next year's draft lottery from Chris?
Chris H, maybe not wrong.
Which Canadian team paid the most
Ooh.
money to the refs?
Cheech wants out. I think it's
Cheech
Chick,
wants
not
out.
Cheech, but
That's okay. I like Cheech. Let's go with Cheech.
off-season champs will be terrible. A joke. What are no?
All right. Do you want my answer?
I do.
Who will Canadian media incorrectly label a team definitely on the rise for a third straight season? Well, we got a lot of good answers there, so I like that one.
What's this one?
You tell me.
I don't even know what that refers to. Yeah, you got to read it. I don't get it.
This one's rough. I might want to pass on this one.
Okay, let's go to the last one.
We're rolling over time.
Let's go.
Do you want to read this last one?
Yeah, Winnipeg.
That's the answer. The answer is Winnipeg.
Winnipeg.
What's the question?
Winnipeg. And we've all spent time this life. I went to the Winnipeg Zoo. It's true. I've been there. My mother took me to a planetarium. I'm not sure what's going on with my mom and dad because I was 5 or 6 at the time. Mm-hmm. There was no plan for a vacation. There was not like, hey, we all packed and we're going on a vacation. I just remember my mom going to me and my sister when I was 5 saying, we're going to Winnipeg. And that was it. Buddy, we were out the door. Like, that was it. No dad, mom, me, and my sister Barb, and we were on our way to Winnipeg. So I'm not quite sure. Now that I'm adult, I look back and I go, I bet you there was a little something going on there when mom grabbed us and dad didn't come with. So I'm guessing there was a little, it happens. We're adults now.
Okay.
So that was my trip to Winnipeg. What team will be relocating to New Orleans? New Orleans. What city will, good, I'm getting dizzy. What is the largest Canadian city without an airport? Wow. What place do players hate the most? Oh, would we all hate the most? George.
Yeah.
What do the players least want to visit?
Yeah.
By Paul.
All true based on polls.
Yes.
Next
what city will lose 2 NHL teams? A-Route. Will it be the first team to lose 2 NHL cities?
Atlanta did, so.
They've lost it twice? Yeah, they did.
Yeah, the Flames and the
Boy,
Thrashers.
Howdy.
Yeah. Who went to Winnipeg.
Can they go again? Yeah. What is the trailer park capital of the world? What city is not known for its parks? Where do they go to test antidepressants?
Ray from Schitt's Creek was from Winnipeg.
Wow. This is hard. And the real answer, Craig?
The real answer is, do we really need to say anything?
Yeah. And
it's Winnipeg.
It's Winnipeg.
And that concludes the Canadian version of Trolling the NHL. And now back to read more ads.
Yeah, so you don't have to go to Winnipeg for a vacation. You know where you can go for a vacation? Stay right here in Arizona and visit Gila River Resorts and Casinos. At Gila River Resorts and Casinos, no one does it better. No time to get away for your vacation? Try a staycation with Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Let yourself get away without getting away. With an unprecedented level of entertainment and excitement that you won't find anywhere else in the desert. Their state-of-the-art gaming, and they also have Arizona's largest casino sportsbook. The dining ranges from upscale to approachable. Head to Gila River Resorts and Casinos and let them show you what next level is all about. You do you. At Gila River Resorts and Casinos, visit playatgila.com for more details. And while we talked about it, we're going to talk about BetMGM because we know how much I am getting ready for the big game. I don't know if I can say the S word, so I'm going to say big game. And the big game is coming up a week from Sunday, and I will bet on everything. Although they came out with the odds of what songs Usher will sing, I will not bet on that because I don't know any Usher songs. So I'm not going to bet on that. But hockey's heating up. College basketball is getting closer to March Madness. And the big daddy of all the big games is just over a week away. And if you do want to be on the edge of your seat during the big game, get some skin in the game. And how can you do that? You can sign up for the BetMGM Sportsbook app. Use bonus code PHNX. Place your first BetMGM Sportsbook wager through the BetMGM Sportsbook mobile application. For at least $5, you receive $158 instantly in additional winnings, regardless of your wager's outcome. Check out the show notes for details. And now, listen to the disclaimer.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 New York. Call 1-800-327-5050 Massachusetts. 21 plus to wager. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP Arizona. 1-800-BETS-OFF Iowa. 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help Michigan. 1-800-981-0023 Puerto Rico in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. Visit BetMGM.com for terms. This promotional offer is not available in New York, Nevada, Ontario, or Puerto Rico.
Awesome. Okay, well, that will do it. And now we're going to head to a little different. We're going to call this the lightning round of trolling around the NHL.
The American version.
The American version. You ready? So what's going to happen here? I want everybody to think of their response in their head so they can have the clever, witty answer. You can still type it in on the chat, but we're going to wrap through these pretty quick. We're going to buzz through these. I'll read the answer. Craig will pause for a second, and then Craig will give the question.
Yeah.
Does that work?
And we're still welcoming in all of your questions.
Yes,
as well.
but with a 10-second
I want to know
delay,
what you got because we've had some unbelievably
great answers. Great answer. We're having fun on a Friday.
Yeah, we're having fun on a Friday.
And people control us. We're good with that.
Yep.
Buddy, we have thicker skin than any other team in the NHL. Except, maybe Ottawa. Maybe Toronto.
Yeah, I think we've got the thickest skin.
Yeah, I do too.
I think so.
Oh, so
I think
it's
this
fine.
fan base has
I don't know if you
skin.
can say to phase me.
Yeah, I don't. At
I'm
this
not-
point, no. Like,
No,
yeah,
who cares?
just
Oh, you gotta. Yeah,
Who
we've
cares?
heard it all. Poverty
HK.
franchise. Heard it.
yeah. Congrats
Oh,
on
you're
your
moving your fan
creativity
base.
and your originality.
Yeah, got
Whatever.
it. Okay,
All right,
you ready?
Trolling the NHL, the American version. Petey, go.
And the answer is Macklin Celebrini.
What is the question
Hmm.
to Macklin Celebrini? What is the question? And I do hate this little delay that we've got going here.
I know, the
because
10-second
It's
delay.
almost not fair.
It reminds
Two
me of my
people.
love life. The 10-second delay. That's a whole nother ad read.
Oh.
If you know, you know. Take it back in the past.
Boy, did we used
to
to
the
do
ad
those ad
reads.
reads in
We
the
did.
past?
We
Yeah,
did those
we
ad reads. And if
We
you
did.
missed those ad reads, woo.
Oh, boy.
Are you ready? Craig, what is the question to the answer Macklin Celebrini?
The question is, who will be the Chicago Blackhawks 2024 draft pick, regardless of where they finish in the standings?
You. Are you
Blackhawks,
ready?
you are the new Edmonton Oilers.
And
All right.
here we go for the next answer. The answer is Kyle Clifford.
Kyle Clifford. That is the answer.
Wow. Kyle Clifford. But there's people right now Googling Kyle Clifford. There are people thumbing through their thesaurus. Who is Kyle
Thesaurus.
Clifford? Who's Kyle? I don't know who. Well, I do know who Kyle Clifford is. I bet you Cash knows who he is. He might be. I bet you Kyle Clifford is Cash's favorite player. Like that just kind of shows where the bar is set for Cash.
I don't think Cash is with us anymore.
You don't think so? I bet if he's got a
gone
Kyle
away.
Clifford poster, if they made one, he'd have it.
Yeah.
You got a sweater?
Or
Does he
maybe
have
he
a
just
jersey?
has a Clifford the Big Red Dog poster.
Yeah. Here we
instead.
go.
All right.
For the question, excuse me, for the answer, Kyle Clifford.
The question is, who will be the next great LA King to have a statue erected in his honor outside Crypto.com arena?
Exactly. Bing. If
Right
you
next
know,
to Dustin Brown.
if you know, you know.
Wait, is it a statue or a trophy, Pete?
It's a trophy.
Okay.
By the way, that's for another show. The answer is Trevor Zegras.
Trevor Zegras. That is the answer.
What is
Sorry,
the
we're
question,
giving
Craig?
you so little time. Sorry, we're giving you so little time.
I think we're
folks,
going to
but-
buzz through them.
Yeah?
Yep. It's
You
time.
want to buzz through them?
We're going to buzz.
You guys have heard the question now, or the answer rather, so you can throw your own questions in the chat. But the question to the answer, Trevor Zegras, is which Anaheim Ducks player has sadly lost his ability to skill it up?
Wow. Paul, go back and listen to the beginning of the show. We talked about Marty Walsh at the beginning. Rewind it, and we'll have all his comments and our comments to his comments. Okay, next. The answer is, oh, this is a long answer. This is how the Columbus Blue
This
Jackets
overgrown
explained
baby.
their
Sorry.
43.3% all-time winning percentage.
Read
the
that again.
answer
Read
is,
that again.
this is how the Columbus Blue Jackets explained their 43.3% all-time winning percentage. And the
Nope.
question,
Nobody's getting this one,
No.
so I'm going to read this one right away.
What's the question?
answer? This is how the Columbus Blue Jackets explain their 43.3% all-time winning percentage. The question is, what do you want from us? We named it our city after a guy who only discovered the West Indies. There it is. Hey!
I don't even know if that deserves,
Hey-o!
not sure that deserves a
Christopher
bell.
Columbus never set foot in the United States. Not once. Not
and,
once.
and discovered in quotation marks.
yeah, discovered. Thank you.
So
Hey, yeah, more like landed. Yeah.
are these going to get better than that?
Oh, buddy. You hurt me. You cut me deep there.
We will be a contender when we get these two guys off the books, is the answer. We will be a contender when we get these two guys off of the books. Answer, Saul Bookman at PHNX, talking about Craig and Petey.
Yes, sir. After this show today, that's
Yeah, that could be
exactly
It was fun working here at
Saul's
PHNX.
door just closed with Espo
Yeah,
in there.
it was
so
fun working here at PHNX, Craig.
Something's going down there. We'll be a contender when we get these two guys off the books.
And what is the question,
The
Craig?
question is, what will Minnesota Wild GM Bill Guerin privately tell reporters in the summer of 2025 about Kirill Kaprizov and Jonas Brodin?
Wow.
Sure, we'll be a
Wow.
contender. Sure, we will.
Yeah, that's a
Sure
great
we will.
answer.
Ow.
Okay, the answer is the Boston Bruins.
The Boston
The
Bruins.
answer is the Boston Bruins. What is the question, Craig?
Which team believes the goal of the NHL season is to win the President's Trophy, not the Stanley Cup? Four-time President Trophy winner, Boston Bruins, never won the cup.
The
in any of
answer
those seasons.
is, because we're buzzing, we don't get paid by the hour. The answer is, at least we're not the Toronto Maple Leafs. The
That is-
answer, at least we're not the Toronto Maple Leafs.
All right. We're giving people any time, or we just
No,
rolling
we
through?
got to go.
All right. The answer is, at least we're not the Maple Leafs. The question is, What New York Rangers fans say when asked why unlimited resources haven't produced a Stanley Cup in 30 years.
Wow. People bitch about the Coyotes not winning. The Toronto Maple Leafs and New York Rangers literally have everything. Everything at their disposal. Everything.
All right.
They don't win.
Yep. All right. Our last question
This
in
is
the
it?
American version. Our last question of trolling the NHL today.
You know what we need to do? Remember Karnak and he got to the last question? And then what? I mean,
Patrick. Craig woke up feeling violent.
yeah, he did. This is a Craig Morgan production, by the way.
Yeah.
The answer is a sea of parking lots and a state-of-the-art arena. A sea of parking lots and a state-of-the-art arena.
You know,
And the question is,
I'm sad that Major Nelson isn't here to hear this one because this last question was, partially with Major Nelson in mind. A sea of parking lots and a state-of-the-art arena is the answer. The question: what is the Ilitch family's idea of urban renewal in the blighted area of downtown Detroit?
well, there you go.
There we have it. There we. Oh, Espo's on the mic. What's going on?
I'm sorry. I thought the question or the answer was, what is 2 things the Arizona Coyotes don't currently have?
Parking lots.
Look at proof that
and
we
an
can
arena.
troll ourselves.
We just trolled ourselves.
Proof that we can
Again,
troll
That's why you're
ourselves.
supposed to be
about
on
my
our
love
side.
life. Okay, let's get a couple of other some housekeeping out of the way. What a wonderful game by Craig Morgan on this fabulous OG's Flavoring Fridays of fun. Are you ready for a couple of business notes? We're
Sure.
going to get serious for just a minute. Clayton Keller is at the All-Star Game. Do we have time, Danielle? And do you know where the Clayton Keller clip is? We are. Let's hear from Clayton Keller at the All-Star Game.
Second half here after the break.
Team's still right in the playoff race. What's the mindset of the locker room? Do you guys feel like you make a run at the playoffs this year?
Yeah, definitely. We have a great group of guys in there. It's super fun to come to the rink every day and compete and work. And I think we made big strides from last year to this year. And I think if once everyone gets back to being healthy, I think we're gonna make a push regardless. And I think we're all looking forward to it.
I will say that it's fun to listen to Clayton Keller, watch him mature as an interviewee.
Yeah, definitely that. Go ahead.
But notice how well Leah Merrill placed the PHNX microphone
Yeah, we got
into
to see
the
that.
scene.
That's
So
good.
any clip you're going to see of Clayton Keller out there is going to have the PH. Way to go at Leah Merrill, because you're sure as hell ain't doing your job here. Next, let's go to former coach of the Arizona Coyotes and current coach of the Vancouver Canucks, who is at the All-Star Game. Let's listen
He
to
talks
hear what
about his reasons for success, right? Like what's working up there. In Vancouver.
what is
Yeah.
working up in Vancouver.
Yeah.
Let's talk to Rick Tocchet.
For me, it's a group thing. I mean, I'm lucky. I brought in Adam Foote, Sergei Gonchar with the existing staff, convincing the Twins that they wanted to. They weren't even coaching; they were more on the development side. Now they're coaching with me. Obviously, my relationship with Patrick and Jim was a big help. So I think it's just the pack mentality we have that really helped me. You don't feel you're alone in there. And obviously, the ownership is stable. It's a stable group. That's really helped for me.
Interesting last comment there from Rick
Yeah.
Tocchet, stable ownership. Yep. But
Yeah.
listen, you want to talk about problems with the Arizona Coyotes, you can look at that over the course of its history.
Yeah.
Really, since Richard Burt sold the team.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's been an issue.
We've
It's
talked
been
about
an
that.
issue for this franchise.
And
stable
how
ownership.
the players and staff react. And if you don't have the right resources, coaches are left to coach less than quality rosters. And we've seen that here through 20 years. So Rick Tocchet had frustrations when he was here in Arizona, and he seems to have alleviated those and shown what he can do when given the
Thank you.
resources and players
that's-
that he
you
needs.
Remember the narratives that follow coaches,
Yeah.
and it bugs me. And as I mentioned yesterday, we had Dave Tippett in here, and we were talking about the same thing. Like Dave Tippett got characterized as this defensive-only coach. He had just come from Dallas, where they scored in bucket loads.
Yeah.
He had coached the LA Kings power play, which was one of the most successful power plays in the league. You coach to your personnel, and when you have a deficient roster, you got to play the way that Dave Tippett played or Rick Tocchet played, because you just don't have those game breakers who can make up for mistakes. You have to play largely mistake-free hockey and great goaltending, and then hope that you can take advantage of what limited opportunities you're going to get on offense, because, again, you don't have a guy who can say, okay, we played a crap game, but we have Sidney Crosby. He just scored 2 goals, and we won the game anyway.
Yeah, it's interesting that where the bar is set and the expectations are set for different coaches. Andre Tournier is getting almost a free pass based on the roster he's been given, and people understand the roster he's been giving and are excited for the opportunities and the steps forward his teams have taken. But Rick Tocchet had points percentage is higher than what Andre Tournier is getting, and yet he was told he couldn't coach. So it's
part of
frustrating.
that is setting expectations, and that's where I like how transparent Bill Armstrong's been as the GM. You set expectations for the fans. Say, hey, these are going to be some lean years. It's going to be tough. You don't say, well, we're fighting for a playoff spot, and then the coach is sitting in the room like, how the hell am I getting this roster into the playoffs?
And we've seen that with Dave Tippett too.
Yes.
Dave Tippett had the team in 2015 that was awful. I still say the 2015 roster is the worst roster they've ever put together. When Dave Tippett was coaching, they had no chance, and yet he didn't get the free pass that I'm getting now. And I'm not saying free pass because I think it was just realistic expectations, and that was set forth by the ownership and management. Hey, we get where we're at, and I think that allowed Andre Tournier to come at it from a different approach and have success doing than what he's doing now.
Yeah.
A couple other just quick business notes we need to take up. McClellan has been fired.
Yeah, Todd McClellan fired in L.A. Yeah.
In L.A.,
That's
replaced by Jim Hiller.
What,
No, we've talked about that.
We watched that team early in the season.
Wow.
Whoa, this is a complete, really good team. Pace, play hard. All of a sudden, the wheels came off the bus completely, and now they're battling for a playoff spot.
Yeah, and this is a team that we thought, was through the rebuild a few years ago, was to the point where they're ready to start winning, and it just hasn't really caught the fire they were expecting. They're much farther along, much farther along than where the Coyotes are. So the expectations have been higher. They had some playoff success a few years ago under McClellan, but never were able to reach the heights that they were hoping to get to in LA. So they made the change there. And I don't want to call it a huge trade. We talked about the trade in Calgary to Vancouver. People are so excited about that. I don't know.
Well, Lindholm is, he's probably the top center on the available at the deadline,
we'll see.
right?
I'm not excited about that. As I talked to Rick Tocchet that day. I know they're excited about it. We'll see. Yeah. And this one today's another move like that in Canada, going from the Montreal Canadiens to the Winnipeg Jets, is Sean Monahan, who has now played in almost every city in Canada. From Calgary to Winnipeg to Montreal.
Did you see the return on that trade?
That was pretty good.
Yeah, it was surprising.
Couple of good draft picks. I could see Sean Monahan telling his agent, just get me to Arizona.
First round pick and a conditional pick. So they got a first round pick.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
And I know there were people who are like, oh, the Coyotes should have picked up Monahan.
For what? Are they going to give up a first round pick for what? For what point?
Yeah,
Winnipeg's
no. I meant in the offseason.
I'm
so
sorry.
that they could flip them like Montreal just did, and that has been sort of Bill Armstrong's.
Yeah,
but sometimes you gamble on things that pay off, and sometimes you don't. Like he's made a lot of good moves. Every GM has moves that they, in hindsight, they could say, I wish I had done this instead of that. Literally every GM. So
I do think this move though for Winnipeg, and I like it for Winnipeg, actually, because I think Monahan's I like Sean Monahan. I really do. I just don't think he's ever had the right fit with the right team at the right time. And I think with Winnipeg, he's going to buy into what's being sold by head coach Rick Bowness right now. And thank goodness he didn't have to live there in November, December, and January. He's going to get there in February, so it's still only about 30, 40 below in February. So it's going to start warming up to spring in the low teens soon. But I think that city gets excited about their hockey. I think it's going to be a fun atmosphere for Sean Monahan. I think he's going to do well there. I think this is a good pickup.
It's interesting. Like aside from, we both love that arena. Winnipeg's arena.
Absolutely. And their fan base is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Fan base is great.
It's actually a great place to watch a hockey
game.
The first two big moves before the trade deadline are made by Canadian teams. Yeah. Again, we were talking about this. Is this Canada's year? Vancouver loaded up a little more. Winnipeg loaded up a little more. These are both teams, like you look at them right now and you say, yeah, they're in the mix for the Stanley Cup.
And we know
they're on the short list.
We know Brad Treliving well enough to know he's not going to stand pat with the Toronto Maple Leafs as this deadline approaches. So look for them to make another move. It's interesting that the Canadian teams are doing so well. You got Vancouver in the tops, and Toronto's fighting for the top spot. Edmonton is setting record paces there. So I think the Canadian markets are doing extremely well. I still there's some teams I like better. I still really like the Boston Bruins in the East. I still really like Vegas. And the one thing about Vegas is they got that LTIR that they're pushing and working and maneuvering again. So look out when everybody gets healthy, which will ironically come right after the regular season when everybody's going to miraculously get healthy. Mark it, book it, clip it right now, because that's when the Vegas Golden Knights will all get healthy.
Kane approach, yeah.
Well, Craig, is there anything else you want to talk about in the NHL?
There really isn't. I'm exhausted from this.
I am.
Week.
That
I'm
game wore me out.
from doing shows without Leah Merrill.
I am too.
I don't think I ever want to do this again, actually.
No. Can we get that in our contract?
Yeah, I mean,
I don't have one, but I don't have a contract. I think they might have actually stopped paying me. I just show up and no one's like, you like it.
Where's my swing line?
Where's my stream line? We're gonna have to move your office again. Yeah, if you know, you know. But if you're not a diehard member of PHNX, make sure you go to gophnx.com. Check out all the things that are included with becoming a diehard. You get 20% off events, 20% off merchandise. You get a free hat or a shirt, not only when you sign up, but every anniversary that you have when you renew your membership with PHNX. You get diehard only content from Craig Morgan. He's got his mailbag that's diehard only. We've got the blog
From Leah Merrill.
that Leah Merrill's been on. And if you don't follow it, you don't get to hear what Leah's got going on in Toronto. I do diehard only Petey's Puck Talk. So it is not only that, and I'll say this, all that stuff is great. And by far that's worth the membership alone. But it's the community and it's the friendships. And you ask any of our diehards right now, and they'll tell you how important it is to them to be a diehard, because we do become a part of each other. We see each other at events. We see each other at the rink, and we support each other's causes. So become a diehard. Please go to Go PHNX Diehard and check out what it means to be a diehard and join this wonderful community. Last thing I want to talk about, kind of one of my pet projects, and it always luckily hits around the All-Star Game, is the Arizona State High School Hockey Tournament. And I like to see kids playing hockey for the right reasons and competing. I went to the semifinals last night, got a chance to call those games. Fantastic games, but it's set up to a number 1-3 matchup, and I think these are the two best teams in the state right now. It's an East versus West matchup. It is Centennial out of Peoria, and they're facing off against Notre Dame of North Scottsdale.
Has Centennial ever won?
No, they have not. This is a big deal for Centennial.
Kind of cool.
They got a first time coach up there in Centennial.
Good for them.
So I want people, first of all, to go to the game on Sunday at 5. It's at the Mullet Arena. You can go on Ticketmaster right now and get tickets. It's going to be a really fun atmosphere. And if you don't believe me on what it's like, I recorded a show just before this, a preview of the Arizona State High School Hockey Tournament. And the last minute of the show, if you don't make it through the whole show, go to the last minute, and you get to see the tying goal and the overtime goal from a year ago and see what that crowd at Mullet was like. Yeah. It is absolutely amazing. So please support local hockey. Go to the Arizona State High School Hockey Tournament. See Centennial face off against Notre Dame. It's speed and skill against speed and skill. Two really, really good hockey teams. I'll be calling the game again. So if you can't be there in person, go to AHSHA, AHSHA, and check out their YouTube channel, because we'll be broadcasting the game live on their YouTube channel, and I'll be calling it. So there's SC saying go Centennial. Centennial, Cade Pareja led the league in scoring. That kid can scoot, man. I tell you what, that Cade Pareja, Gibbs and net was phenomenal. It was a really good game. So check it out. Follow all of us on social media. You follow the show at PHNX_Coyotes. Follow Craig at Craig S. Morning. Follow me at S. Peters Hockey, at Leah S. Merrill, at Abrica Danielle. It's just because I stumbled. I had it right. Abrica Danielle. Follow the show. If you're watching us on YouTube, make sure you subscribe and like. If you're listening to this on your audio, make sure you subscribe to your podcast, wherever you get your podcast, and leave us a 5-star review. It really does help us out. Thanks again for joining us on this really fun OG's Flavoring Fridays. We had a great time. And until next time, I'm Petey. That's Craig. And we'll see you at the rink.
We all silly like the mayor.